Greetings everyone, it's Anna. I hope you have all been doing well. Today we're going to be taking a look back at my reading year so far, and then we're going to be setting some goals for 2021. So I have the notes here. I went back and I looked at the video, so I will link that above so you can kind of see the goals that I set myself for the year. And I only had 4. I thought they were easily attainable. I didn't want to give myself a super long list, but I don't think I actually hit all of them. I think I just hit 1. So the first one was quality over quantity. Second one was to read 45 books. Third one was to read diversely, so in terms of genre. And then the fourth one was to read more classics. So honestly, a lot of that was thrown out of the window just because I just wanted to have comfort reads for this year. I understand it's been a hard year for everybody, and I definitely put my reading on autopilot. I've been really busy and I didn't want to get into anything that was going to make me feel down or slow down my reading or whatever it might be. So I read quite a lot. In terms of like the read 45 books, I read 72 so far, and I'm hoping to try and get 2 more books in before the year is done. We've only got a few days left, but I'm gonna give it a go. I definitely put myself on autopilot and I just didn't really think about the books that I was reading. I did start to do the stats in the beginning of my wrap-up videos just so I had an idea of what I was reading, and I was pleased that I was reading a lot more sci-fi than I originally thought I was. And so I realised I was picking up a sci-fi probably every single month. So I like it more than I realise I do. In terms of the other genres like literary fiction and all of that stuff, I don't think I read as widely in terms of genre as I would have liked to. But again, I've been on autopilot and I'm not too disappointed. Like I don't think I've read a single classic this year so far. And I'm not upset because I just wanted comfort. I just wanted to enjoy. I didn't want to think about it too much or make myself feel down or disappointed because I didn't hit these arbitrary goals. Like, it's really not that deep. We have another year coming up and I've got new goals for myself that I can try and attain for the next year. I think we can all be forgiven if we didn't hit certain goals for this year because it's been hard. So I have my list here for 2021. I have only 5 so far that I have for myself. I think again these are easily attainable, and I think a couple of them might be repeats from this year's goals. So the first one was to read more backlists, and that kind of goes hand in hand with my second goal, which is to change my buying habits. So I will explain both of those. So in terms of changing my buying habits, what I really noticed that because I've mentioned that I was really looking for comfort, I started to buy way more books this year. Now, we have this conversation every so often on BookTube, on Book Twitter about consumerism. I don't care. I'm really just talking about it in terms of like my collection and my buying habits, and I really want to rein it in. I went wild this time, which I think I can be forgiven for doing so. My library was closed and I had certain books that I really wanted to get to, but I barely got to the ones that I have purchased so far. And I've always been somebody who I don't like having a really long TBR, like a physical TBR, whatever it might be. The books that I own, I don't like having them unread. I don't collect unread books. I like to have books in my collection that I have read. That is what I like personally for myself. I don't want to hoard. That's not my bag at all. So I kind of tallied up everything that I had. And in terms of the books I have, audiobooks, I have 3. I tend to only really like pick up Audible books when if I can't get the physical copy like anywhere else, or I don't really want to buy the physical copy and it's a book that I think I would prefer to read via the audiobook, then I will specifically pick it up. So that's why that number is so low. For ebooks, I have about 20 unread, and that's a more conservative number. That is only including the ones that I've purchased, but I do have like a bunch more that I downloaded for free from Amazon. So the ones that they don't have the trademark on them, the trademark has run out, so they're like in the public domain. and I downloaded those, and so I have quite a few of those. So if I include those and also the Prime reading, So those are ones that I wouldn't give back, and they would only go back to Amazon if I think if I cancelled my Prime membership, and I think that bumps it up to about 40. And then my physical TBR is 41. So it used to be a lot lower, like 10 or so, like a lot lower, but I've been buying and buying during this lockdown because I don't have access to my library. We're in lockdown again, so I have ordered some books from the library, but I don't think I'm going to get those until quite some time into next year. And so I kind of want to rein that back because, I mean, it's nice to buy books. I enjoy the serotonin it brings to me when those books arrive and I put them on my shelf. But I don't know. I feel like it's great to support authors by buying their books, but if I was an author, I was going to say as an author, I haven't printed any books, but if I was an author, I would also like to know that somebody has opened my book and has read it and has enjoyed it, because why would they write the book if they don't want you to read it? So I just don't want just useless books on my shelf. Like I want to read those. So I want to make the effort to get through my TBR for next year and try not to be so caught up in new releases, because this is the year that I've also been sent quite a few arcs as well, and I do have a few that I need to get to, like a couple that have already been released, like Addie LaRue, and I think a couple of anthologies, and I was sent a final copy of Fires of Vengeance, which I am currently reading at the moment, and I'm hoping to finish reading before the end of the year. So not that I'm going to do a complete no buy, but more so just I want to read what I own and just not have my books sitting on my shelves gathering dust. Like I want to enjoy the books that I read, and that kind of rolls into reading more backlists. So I kind of mentioned it in last year's video, not trying to get caught up in the hype, which I definitely think I did this year, but it's fine, we can enjoy things. But really look at authors' works that they've previously done, try not to get caught up in new releases again, and read what is already out there. Like this year I purchased the whole of N.K. Jemisin's backlist. Really want to get to the rest of her series next year, and her third book in the 5th season, what is it called? It's escaping me right now. The Broken Earth trilogy. I want to get that done before the end of the year as well. So yeah, just looking back at what is already out there. I think for me, trying to be more aware of backlists means that, or I would like to think it means, I won't be so distracted with the new shiny books, and I would then be more encouraged to read the books that I already own. The third goal was for me to read 50 books in 2021, which is, as you can tell, a very attainable goal for myself, but I don't like that stress of getting to December and I've got X amount of books left and I need to rush it. I can hit that pretty easily. I can usually hit it around 6 months through the year, so I don't have to worry too much about that. So I think 50 books is a nice round number, and it's one that's easily attainable. I can get through that and I can then just like chill and rest easy, because that's the goal that I've hit. I have again put quality over quantity on my list, but that's just mainly because I want to ensure that I'm reading stuff that I really, really love and I know that I'm going to enjoy. Who knows what the year's going to bring? Maybe I'll go on autopilot again and read stuff that I consider trash, or it's not very good, but it's just like sugar, like it's great stuff but it's not very good for you. Who knows? But I think having that goal at the back of my mind always means that I'm going to try and make the effort to read books that I think that the content's great, like stuff that I can come on this channel and really gush about and talk to you in detail about because they're really fantastic books. Like that's essentially what I mean by that goal. I've already started putting together like a reading list. So I've, on an Excel document, I've started like mapping out books that I want to read for the year. I'm hoping that doing it that way with me, I'm a bit more organized. I kind of already have it outlined what I want to read. So I guess I'm starting early with all the TBRs. I'm probably not going to stick to that, but it's at least good to give it a go and give that a try. The last one I have is to actually review more books on Goodreads and also YouTube. A fraction of the reason why I started making booktube videos is because I did want to do something that meant I was thinking critically, being more analytical and using that part of my brain. I left university a really long time ago, and I don't get to do these kind of critical analytical things day to day in my job, and I kind of wanted to refresh those skills. And on Goodreads, I tend to, more often than not, I will write like, we'll review later, and I don't. I never do. So just sitting down and being able to pour through my thoughts and write down the review is just kind of a skill that I want to work on. I tend to avoid writing. I would like to write in general just for fun more often, but it's not a skill that I sharpen very much. Like I'm always a bit not nervous, but I'm not very comfortable with my writing skill. I've never been one for words, even though I talk a hell of a lot. But I want to make sure that I'm really working on those skills as someone who is an adult now, and these are kind of things that we tend to forget about, or we don't have to do it because we're in school. We don't have to be analytical, but for me personally, I would like to do that a bit more and a bit often, and hopefully that will then also knock onto my video reviews as well. Hopefully I improve. Skills only improve if you work on them and if you really practice with them, and so that's what I want to do. So I guess that's more of like a YouTube content reviewer kind of goal, but I think it still ties into the whole reading goals that I have. So folks, that was a look back at the goals that I had for this year, and we're looking forward to the goals that I have for 2021. Hopefully those are attainable, but I'm not gonna beat myself up if I don't hit those, because like I said, it's not that deep. So let me know below what your goals are, what you would like to achieve in terms of your reading for this year, and whether or not you hit any of your goals yourself. So that is it from me. Do let me know what you all think, and if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give the like button some love, and if you would like to see more from myself, then you are more than welcome to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.